am I? Oh, there I am. I don't know why it takes so long to like load me. It's always been like that way. Okay, let me just get my jewels on. Hello. Hi, we're going fishing again. Are you guys excited? Oh my god, I had an exam today where I had to do like differential geometry and it was terrible. Oh god, the professor basically saw that everyone in the class uh basically failed, right? So we're gonna have to like redo the exam with like a maximum note of like 82%. It was so bad. But I think it's kind of her fault, because a lot of the people who are doing the things that I'm doing are like graduate level, and it's been a long time since we done like integrals, and there was like some relatively tricky substitutions that unless you're like an engineering enthusiast, uh you won't be super into. So yeah, I mean, I guess this is more so a reminder that you have to know your stuff. Yeah, differential geometry sounds interesting though. It is very interesting. Yeah, I think it's the most practical dimension of mathematics. So once you are in like fifth semester at college, right, and you want to combine, what would it be? Like everything you know about algebra and everything you know about calculus, like that's what you do. Yay! So that's it. How's everyone? How are you all doing? I'm stretching right now. Oh my god. Higher math goes totally over my head. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm trying not to think about it as well. Because basically, right, I spent like all the morning thinking about the exam, and then I was like, before going on stream, trying to do the corrections, and I went through two of the corrections. One of them is really easy, but the other one is very hard. And I guess if you're not smart about how you do exams, so if you don't answer the easy ones first, then you run into this problem of like getting stuck on a long exercise, right? Oh my god, hi. Yeah, so I didn't get stuck on a long exercise, but I eventually did. That was kind of the problem in my case. That I advanced like all the short ones, and then I got stuck on a long one, yeah. Because the long one was like the uh operatively easiest. And then I tried to be smart with one that I couldn't be smart with in the end. Yeah, it's it was a difficult exam. I'm doing okay for having a totally abysmal weekend and week last week. Oh my god. Well, I hope that gets better. Yeah, it's a new week, new you. Oh my god. Reading every question at the start might be coded. Yeah, like I think this is like an important thing just for like interaction with people. Yeah, there might be a bit of time before everyone gets in and gets ready to like actually watch the game. So, if you're in early, you get the privilege of like talking to me, and I'll answer your questions. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So I was doing that, and it was okay, really. I've done harder exams in my life. It's just that uh, it's the problem of like doing things that are easy but you haven't done in a long time, so you're just kind of ticking in your head like, oh my god, I remember this, but I don't remember it right now. Like, what do I do? Yeah, there's like some of my professors who I guess really love knowing how to do like the little counts in integrals, so they know how to do basically every integral. And those guys are like super passionate about mathematics in a way that I'm simply not. But I also have I guess older professors, especially, who are working on a very specialized area of mathematics, right? And what they do is that they're too old to remember how to do like all the trigonometric identities and stuff. So what they do is that they have like these books that they consult, and they say like, oh, just let me check in a book how this is gonna work, right? And then they make me angry because You know, their example shows that you can have like a very successful career in mathematics without knowing how to do integrals. Like it's something you have to do at some point, don't get me wrong, because it's like proof of concept, right? And it's something that if you don't know how to do, you still should be able to know how to discover how to do, I guess. But you know, it's not something you have to wear in your heart. And today's exam was a very like wear in your heart kind of thing. Yeah. uh the most baffled I've been in class was at the stats course. Yeah, stats is similar in that you also need to it's more of an art, I guess, because you do need to go out of your way to think about how to like put every small thing together. And you have to be relatively inventive, right? It's not like demonstrations and such. Sadly, I have to leave around 1 p.m. I know, but I'll help you as much as I can until then. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, do you know how long you'll be streaming? Because the thing I need to do should only be an hour. I'll be streaming for maybe 3 hours. Yeah, normally I stream for 3 hours. But you know, don't worry about it. I'm just going to keep upgrading the ship. I want to relax after the exam, so I don't really want to advance the story. I'm just going to be fishing for money and buying ship upgrades, which is pretty nice. I think I will try to max out the ship before I continue the story, unless the game starts asking me for like ship upgrades that are a bit beyond what I can currently do. Because at that point, you know, uh, yeah, you know, I think it'll make the game easier, and I will enjoy that. I wouldn't like to have like I think that'll make my experience of the game better. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's also a way you can play it in which, you know, you're kind of relaxed all the time, because if you're trying to like speed run or hard mode it, which I imagine is possible, right? You won't really spend too much time upgrading your ship. You will just be um, going for quests as fast as you can, and you will be going for enemies as fast as you can, and like all of that. Um, so yeah, that will be my way to engage the game. I have like 3 jobs. If I want stress, I can just like not play video games, right? Yeah. Or play like Elden Ring or something like that. Yeah. Comfy stream, comfy voice. Thank you. Yeah. I'm often told that my voice is like sleepy bedtime story-ish. I I guess that's comfortable. Like even before I transitioned, and I did like the moniker of voice training that I did, because I haven't done that much, right? Um, yeah, I was always told I was like soft spoken, and that people couldn't place my accent. But if you can't, it's normal. Don't worry about it. It's a constructed accent. It's not from like any one place. A lot of people tell me you sound French. You sound French, but no, this is not what a French accent sounds like. A French accent sounds more like this. I don't know. That would be it. Like, I guess if you guys have ever heard like, if you ever go to France and you ask a French person to speak English, and they're clearly like, you know, older generation person, they will not sound they will not sound like me. You know, will be very different. Yeah, like. Yes. Oh my god. I think I'm also like willing to stretch, because like on the way back I didn't take the walk. So in order to get home, it's like a 40-minute walk, right? It can be 40 minutes or an hour depending on like how intentioned I am. So yes. Yeah. I had a French girlfriend. I know exactly the accent. Yeah. I mean, I have a French girlfriend as well, but she doesn't have that much of an accent. She sounds wonderful. She gets mad at me because, like, sometimes I tell her, "Oh, you sound like very, very nice in English. Would you like to speak to me in English?" And she's like, "No, because that sounds like, for me, that's like emotionally distant. So I would rather speak to you in French, and I'm like, okay, okay. Yeah, it's not that. It's just that I enjoy listening to her voice, you know. Not that. Mm, yeah, not that I don't like how her French voice. It's just that I like her voice in general, and listening to it in different presentations is like nice. Yeah, but like the very heavy French accent that like some people have when they speak English is, for example, I wouldn't say that Sadway, you know, the VTuber Sadway, she doesn't necessarily have a super heavy accent, but for example, I think one time someone asked her, how do you say the number 19 in English? And they were trying to get her to say like these nuts, right? Like the, because the way you say 19 in French is 19, 19. Alors, so yeah, they were trying to say, oh, she said these nuts, but you know, instead of saying like answering the questions, she said like, why are you bothering me with stupid questions like this that you can Google it? And yeah, that's that's a good example if you want to hear like um what I mean. Yeah, and there's also, I guess in YouTube there's also some French content creators in English, like Alice Chappelle. She's like also a leftist video essay person, but yeah, she records herself with a camera instead of doing VTubing. Mm-hmm. This is something I've heard from some people, especially now that I made a poll regarding like opinions on what everyone would think if I made more video essays with this VTuber model instead of like Poland Wall, for example. And I guess it's something that's relatively that I'm relatively amenable to, and it's that people don't really like VTuber models for three reasons. I guess the number one is that uh, if they're not super well animated, they can be a little uncanny, right? And that's something I completely understand, because I've seen VTuber models that are, you know, not as well done as this one, and I guess if you're trying to get the impression that you're speaking to someone that is like a midpoint between a rant sona, if you know what those are, the like pictures that people used to represent themselves in old YouTube, and like an actual person, and that, yeah, that can throw them off and feel a little less video essay. And honestly, I think that's just a stylistic perspective. I don't think it's necessarily like a super merited argument, but I've heard another one, which is that people don't like the VTuber community overall, right? Like they don't like the space for the kinds of people who hang out in there, and the fact that, you know, VTubing in a way, the way it emerged during the pandemic was a sort of loneliness industry, and it sold a lot of people essentially the idea of being loved and accompanied by someone who wasn't there. And for lots of people, right, that was maybe a way that they used to like get by and survive and do that kind of thing. You know, get along in a period where a lot of people were very lonely, but uh, a lot of other people are not really happy with that because they see the nature of that business as a little predatory, right? Because the way that business works and the way that a bunch of like anime waifu like businesses work is that they get you to feel lonely and they get you to invest money in what's essentially a friend or a companion or the simulation of a friend or a companion. It's like the business model of geisha, right? But in a way, it's geisha that are gentrified because, you know, if you were in ancient Japan, well, not even ancient Japan, like medieval, right? And you had access to a geisha through something like a diner or, you know, a tea house or something like that, you would actually like dine with someone and maybe cuddle with someone and maybe do other things with someone and things like that, right? You would meet a real person and interact with that person and spend an evening or yeah, like have some time for yourself and someone else. But the difference with VTubing is that you, and streaming in general, I would say, is that you have a very gentrified version of that where, you know, a person has access to like 12 people. And if they are simulating this like relationship aspect of like, ooh, hi, I'm your best friend, or I'm your girlfriend, and things like that, then yeah, you know, there's people who see that as like maybe something they don't like to participate in. And I understand that. I understand the why people are upset. But you know, I am using the VTuber technology, I guess, but I'm not really aspiring to give you guys like the illusion that I'm your girlfriend or something. So I can be your friend. Like you can talk to me. I'm friendly. But yeah, that's pretty much a line that I wish to draw, which is why I will be very open about the fact that, you know, I have a partner and things like that. Mm. This doesn't matter how many French people move to Quebec, I'm not using their expression. I mean, that's fine. I think in Quebec you have better expressions. Yeah, I like the Quebec expressions a lot more. Yo, you low-key go fishing, fishes on dredge. Yeah, hell yeah, that's something we do here. The perspectives and opinions within VTubers and VTuber stands have become too diverse to apply a blanket general judgment. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I think it's also very complicated to be like a game streaming these days because it's a bit of a community that's suffering from diminishing returns because there's just so many people, right? Like if you were around for the anti-SJW or like skeptic community days, or even like the atheist community that came before, right? Like the Bible is a finite book, so there's only so many things you can say about the Bible, right? And if you were a person who was doing like, oh, this is what I think about this paragraph about the Bible, and this is what I think about this paragraph about the Bible, and there were like 300 people trying to do that, you would eventually just run out of the Bible because it's a finite book, right? So eventually, the reason why you consulted like different creators was not necessarily because you were getting new information, but rather because you were getting different perspectives on a single subject, right? Coming from like personalities that maybe catered better to your own sensibilities and stuff. So yeah, I think that gaming as like a streaming thing, you can either be like very very funny, very very good at games, or you know, you can play a game in like a meta way that's especially interesting. So, and those are like the three things you can do, but like it's not so easy as it was back in, let's say 2011, right? When you could just be like a gamer and get forward as before. So yeah, in that sense, I think VTubing is evolving in a very interesting way. I was given an invite to like a VTuber exclusive website called Myoshi not too long ago, and I am learning that a lot of people use VTuber models or personas as like, you know, the way people used to use OCs in Tumblr. So they use their characters rather as a representation for themselves, and then they may not even be necessarily content creators. They just want to have like a character that represents them on the internet, and then they want to socialize with other characters. And there's events like on VR chat and things like that where people organize like proms, or they organize like dates, and you know, your character is just a vehicle for you to access those social spaces. And it's interesting, you know. I guess VR chat is interesting because it's an endogenous, I wouldn't say endogenous, it's like an autogenous community that created what Meta tried to create with like the Facebook Meverse thing that they were trying to do. So yeah, you know, I guess Facebook wanted to create like this like digital world, augmented reality kind of thing, and nobody wanted it because like Facebook is mostly boomers, and also because the people who wanted it, who could have been interested in that, you know, they were all in VR chat already. VR chat is where that kind of stuff happened. So yeah. Oh yeah, one point. You may want to install and use a trollnet and craftbot since you can make a ton of passive income from them. Yeah, I got that. I was playing a bit on my own because I wanted to like continue looking for places. I didn't advance the story at all, so you guys don't have to worry, right? But yeah, I just I discovered that you can use like a fishing net on your ship, and it's good. It gives you fish. Yeah. I think I might turn on the game in like 7 minutes. Facebook focused on business and VR chat focused on art. Yeah. Yeah, what's so cool about VR chat is that it's very community driven. I wish that Discord had evolved in that direction. Right now, Discord is suffering from enshittification as well, because they're implementing a lot of things that, you know, oh, you have to pay like this small amount of money for this, and now you have to pay this small amount of money for this other thing, and you need to like gather, you know, get all your community members to spend like $100 on your Discord server just so you can have like color tags and stuff. So yeah, you know, like Discord is just trying to see how it can extract more money from its users, and I hate that. I hate that. But at the same time, I have to recognize that there's probably no substitute for Discord right now. I have tried to look at Revolt and even hosting my own servers, but you know, that just I think it's like kicking the problem down the line. Yeah. Hello Ravi. Hello Ordinal. Famous YouTuber Ordinal. Wow. This guy is a celebrity, guys. You have to be on your best behavior because it's not every day that I get watched by like big YouTubers like this. Yeah. You might even call the crab baron Mr. Krabs. Sure. Bam, 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 bam. I'm like scratching my nose right now. This is how it looks on the puppet. Yeah. I've never been on VR chat. I have friends who have, and you know, it's very interesting. There's channels that do like, oh, VR chat interview. I talk with like someone that I found on VR chat that happens to be like a veteran or someone who did this thing of LGBTQ activism, or like this other interesting person doing this other interesting thing. And I guess I was always interested in that, you know, but I was always I don't know, I never got the headset. I had a very small room when I lived with my parents, which was like maybe 4 meters by 2 meters, I guess. So I never would have had like the space to enjoy it, even if I had the headset. And then a couple of friends told me that, oh, you can play without a headset. You can just like move around with a keyboard. And I was like, well, what's the fun in that? What's the fun in that? It's just like a chat room then? It's just like Maid Marian MMORPG social chat rooms then? Nah, bruh, I'm not. I'd rather have like a live 2D like this one. Be an honorary millennial and download TeamSpeak. Oh god. Maybe I can do that. Maybe that's the solution. You know, Discord till TeamSpeak, but maybe TeamSpeak can kill Discord again. Maybe that's the way things are gonna go. By the way, guys, you don't have to give money to Discord, but supposing you want to still be near one of my communities or something, in the description you will find like the link to the Discord, just in case you want to join. I should probably have like a robot type that in the chat every other couple of minutes, but you know, for the time being, I'm going to take the initiative and announce that. Hard to justify a headset if you never use it. Yeah. TeamSpeak is gonna avenge your voice Skype, yeah. I just hope. I don't know. Like, the thing is that once you. This is a normal aspect of capitalism, I would say, right? It's called the principle of diminishing returns. So, the way this works is that, for example, imagine that you are the McDonald's in town, right? then you get you're the only McDonald's in town, and then you get like 100% of the profits of the town just from one of the stores, right? But then Burger King comes along and says, this town is amazing because, it's a town where I don't have any business, and I could put like one of my stores, and I could have money that I don't have, that I didn't have before. And so Burger King comes along and they put like one of their franchises in this town, and now they make 50% of the money of the town, and you, McDonald's, now you make 50% of the money of the town, because now there's two burger joints. Yeah. So for Burger King, this is good because they were making 0% and now they're making 50%. But for you, it's pretty bad because you were making 100% and then you are making 50, right? So then what you decide to do is that you open a second store, right? And then your second store pops you up to a situation where the town has two McDonald's and one Burger King. So you're making now 66% of the money. So, it's a bit better than before. You're not making 50%. But now you are making 66% of the money that you used to make, but you have to run two stores, right? And that's a problem that happens with a lot of businesses once they reach like their maximum size. With Discord, I think they were getting into that problem where they had basically reached their maximum size. They couldn't really make money out of their membership system because they didn't have like any more money to make out of the membership system. So now they're trying to see what other ways they can get you to spend, like, we want you to promote a specific video game, so this video game is now going to give us money, and we're going to give you a challenge with which you can buy like vanity aspects for your profile, or now you can buy like nitro boosts for your whatever, right, for your servers, or you can have your profile have like pretty aspects that the poor people won't have, and things like that. Yeah. So it's always trying to invent new ways to extract money once you reach your maximum size. So yeah. Well, gotta go bye for now. See ya. Me explaining anything to Americans. Imagine you're McDonald's. Yeah, I mean, I think restaurants are probably the best example for this because, restaurants and cities grow very slowly. Because in real life, it's not exactly that way, Cities are always getting bigger, and, services are always increasing in demand. But, I guess a McDonald's is not like a supermarket where you often need to create new supermarkets a lot faster than you need to create new, like, burger joints. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of McDonald's, that video of the CEO trying to eat his product was yeah. That reminds me, it's really funny. Back in the 2000s, whenever there were like McDonald's ads and you had like supermodels eating the burgers, because that's a thing that a lot of these commercials used to have back then when they were a lot more sex focused, right? The model never ate the burger. You saw her like biting it, and you saw her like interacting with it, but you never saw her swallow, right? Like, that's suspicious. There's like this famous McDonald's commercial of like the teriyaki burger, where you have this girl and she's eating a burger at the beach, and yeah, she never swallows it. She opens the burger and she takes the pineapple and she takes like a bite of the pineapple, right? And she eats that, but the burger itself, you never see her. You never see her take the burger. Yeah. Don't get scammed, guys. If you're gonna get a burger, get it from like your local joint. Okay, I feel ready to play the game. I'm gonna open it now. Oh, you guys are also going to see that I upgraded my transition on the between slides. You will see right now. Yeah. The prop food is always loaded with chemicals, yeah. Look. Look. It's not yet. It's not gonna happen yet. It's not gonna happen yet. But it's gonna happen soon, okay? Yeah, there we go. Look at it now. Wow! There you go. Did you see the butterflies? Yippee! We now have butterflies. Well, they're mods really, or you know. It's so pretty, yeah. I was looking for like things that way. I was getting a lot of like items done to stream. Yeah. Yes! I love it. I'm trying to get you guys like nice visuals, so you're happy. Okay. Now we're getting stuff from the ocean. Okay. What's in here? Pow. Yes, I take my community very seriously and I get you guys like pretty visuals. I guess that's always something that I've cared about whenever I've made videos, you know? Yeah, that's why I take so long to publish. Oh my god. Do you guys want me to talk about a small drama? You can tell me no. Like, it's not that it's not that meaningful, and I don't want to be like a drama creator, but I could say something about like visuals if you want. But I'm gonna stop myself because like I don't want to make a rule of like beef. I'm here to relax. Yeah. It's been so long since I had like McDonald's anything. I heard a person say that the chicken nuggets are good and that the fries are good, but I hate the fries, you know, I think they're so dry. But a lot of people say it's the best thing about McDonald's, you know, like the fries. I'm like, okay. Oh my god, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not super into the fries. I guess I do like when fries are like a little salty or a little what would I say? I don't like when they're dry. But I guess that's like what makes the McDonald's fries good. They're like dry. I'm not sure. Dredge drama. No, it's not dredge drama. It's like niche VTuber. No, not VTuber, YouTuber drama. Yeah. It depends on the franchise, yeah. Huh. Okay. This is enough. Taking a lot of iron. But yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, no, I do like when fries have like a bit of salt to them, or when they have a little foil. Like the McDonald's fries are super dry, and I guess I've never tried the nuggets. I only eat McDonald's even then when I'm in Europe. Because in Europe I know that the ingredients are, you know, they're decent, right? eating eating McDonald's in the Americas is like a health hazard. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to the dry dock. Yeah. The goal is basically to no. To like slowly fill these things. So here it's asking for a wood. Okay. Okay. So this is going to be complicated because from what I'm seeing, most of the new most of the new tools require wood, and I am very bad at finding wood. Wood is like the hardest thing for me to find. I don't know why. I just struggle finding wood. like if you were around for last stream, I spent like maybe like an hour and 20 minutes just looking for wood. Oh my god, bro. That was so sad. But yes. It's almost all wood. Whenever I eat McDonald's, I can feel my arteries clogging. It's gross. Yeah. Yes, by the way, I only get nuggets there, but only as a last resort. The nuggets from Chick-fil-A are significantly better. I've heard they are. But, you know, where I live, there's no Chick-fil-A. I've never tried it. There's one in Mexico City, and I guess I saw one for a second when I went to, like, an airport in Panama, but I just didn't try it. I wasn't curious enough. But yeah, like a lot of people tell me it's good. You know, I even know some gay people who are into it, and you know, there's drama among like trans women because like these guys donated to Republicans or something like that, and they're like, no, you shouldn't eat a Chick-fil-A because they're like fascist or whatever. But there's another group that's like, no, but they're so good, I don't care. Right? Like, they're like, nah, I can make an exception. Yeah, that's the kind of like business you want to have, right? Like where you know you're so good that even people who have to boycott you for moral reasons don't stop feeling like compelled. Because they're like, nah, but it's so good, I can't go without it. I don't want to go without it. Yeah. I heard something similar happened with like the FNAF community, because there's this controversy about Scott Cawthon, the creator of FNAF, being like a Republican. I don't even think that he's like that conservative from what I understand. I think he's just pro-life, and he's just that concerned about like abortion, and so he votes Republican. But you know, he's also like a millionaire, so maybe it's not that innocent. Oh, look, a house, nice. Yeah. Personally, I don't know. I support like I support women's right to choose. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't. Yeah. Like, why would you? I mean, okay. Okay, there it is. I have to park there. I'm gonna sleep for a second, yeah. Builder. Oh yeah, this lady. She was Scottish, right? She's from the Scottish island, yeah. Okay. Hey, thanks again for helping me move out here. I've managed to get myself set up now. I found this while I was unpacking. You should take it. Oh, the Engineer's Companion, okay. She hands you a book. The cover is dusty, but in otherwise good condition, okay. If you ever need to use the dock or store stuff here, be my guest. Is there a storage? Oh yeah, there's a storage. Nice. Okay, this is good. Why would you do a video on the impact of dissidents such as Marco Rubio on Trump's foreign policy? That would be very interesting, yeah. I guess my view is that you know, Trump won. He surrounded himself with a lot of insider Republicans. Trump too, he feels very betrayed because a lot of those insider Republicans did not stand by him when he was trying to do like January 6th and perpetuate himself in power, that sort of thing, right? So you have in Trump too a lot less of the traditional Republican Party, with an assortment of exceptions, and I guess one of those exceptions would be Marco Rubio, because Marco Rubio, you know, he's definitely a lackey, right? But he is within the lackeys one of the more conventional Republican ones, and what I would say makes him particular is that he's not that compliant with like the more thrown to the sides MAGA people, such as, for example, JD Vance, right? Like you would see Marco Rubio, and his situation is kind of tragic in a way because he's a more traditional Republican trying to get the, let's say, non-traditional Republicans to behave in conventional ways. Yeah. So that's his dilemma, right? Yeah. Like, that's what I would see him. I think most of the work he's doing right now is in foreign policy as well. Because, yeah, for, like, internal security, I don't think they are listening to him that much. I think he's the guy that's telling Trump, like, okay, let's do Cuba, now let's do Venezuela, now let's do Iran. Things like that. And honestly, I will tell you that's not a completely stupid strategy if you're thinking like a Republican. Because there's a lot of Republicans who are, you know, who could be, how would I say this? There's a lot of Latinos who could be very conservative voters. Because, you know, there's just a lot of Latinos that are conservative, right? And in that sense, there's not really that much that they find in common with a Democratic candidate, for example. But they will vote Democratic because, yeah, they are... they are okay, right? Like, they are afraid of the Republicans because the Republicans are racist, right? So in a world where the Republicans are not racist, a lot of these people would like resonate a lot more with Republican policy because they are like Christian, conservative, right? They want to like have their family and just hang out with their family, things like that. So that's their opinion. That's what they think and what they believe. They just want to be left to work and create their capital and be left to their families, and that's how some Latinos are, right? I know them because like a lot of my family is like that. in a lot of circumstances, this is who they would vote for and what they would support. What's going on here? A once strong wooden hull is broken against the shoreline. The stern is completely beached. You pull a bit closer and manage to climb the wreck. You look around. Oh! Well, don't mind if I do. Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Yes! Thank you for the stuff. So, what was I saying? Okay, yeah. So, there's a lot of conservative Latinos, and you know, if the Republicans want to survive as a party, they will need to reach out to these Latinos. But the problem is that the moment that they do, they will have to cut down on a lot of the racism, right? And they are trying to postergate the moment where that happens. But you know, one way in which they can do that without exactly giving in on the racism, right, is by attacking socialists from other countries, because you know, a lot of these people who are like from the Marco Rubio sort, they don't like you know, they come from like Venezuela or Cuba, and then you tell these people like, oh, you know, I am going to take out the leader of Venezuela or the leader of Cuba and or the leader of Iran, right? And then they get happy about that, because that's like the how would I say this, the enemy that their parents taught them to just sort of resent all their lives, right? Yeah. So that's where their hearts are, and the TLDR is that you can appeal to those people as voters if you... Okay, now everything I'm missing is wood. This is so sad. Okay. Okay, but yeah, you can appeal to those people as voters if you tell them, yeah, I am willing to do these things for you. Is the Latino vote more significant than the racist vote, though? At the moment, not so much, but like it might be the case soon, because Latinos might be like the fastest growing demographic in the United States, right? They are very soon, or they're very close to become like the second minority, overcoming Black Americans, who used to be like the first minority. I think that's even the case right now, right? Like Latinos are the second minority, and they are continuing to grow. Yes. Did you hear about what happened with James Tallarico and Stephen Colbert? I personally think this is crazy and funny because it backfired so bad. I don't know. I heard about the James Tallarico that was like a Texas guy, and you know, the friend who told me, I just made a joke to her that I said like, James Tallarico? Who's Tallarico? I thought that he was destroyed by H. Bomber guy. That's like everything I said to her, and she didn't laugh, but she understood the joke. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't keep up with that. Yeah. Yes, because the Latino one has higher swing in changing the outcome of elections. Yes, yes. There will be a moment when the US becomes Latin American, I'm sure. There's so many of us going there now. Florida, Texas, and Arizona notably. Yeah. Hi, hi. How are you doing? I'm selling fish before the inevitable moment where I have to Ooh, not bad. I'm making like 200 on the whole now. She will crash into a rock and lose health for inventory. No, don't wish that upon me. Don't wish that upon me. I'm being nice. I'm being nice to you. Do you not like me when I'm nice to you? Do you want me to be mean? Is that it? Nah, I'm joking, I'm joking. Or am I? I could, let me remember how to do that. Or am I? Or am I? Ha ha ha. Okay, there we go. I love the musical ambience. Yeah, me too. Okay, I am very close to the screen right now, aren't I? Let me try this and then that this is how I get my eyes normal. Oh, I'm sorry. I try to be scary. I look very pathetic now, I bet. Yeah. Colbert did 2 segments talking about it and also posted an interview or shows, you know, and it's where it became the most watched video. Oh, I see. I don't know. It's been a long time since I kept up with what that guy was doing. I guess there was a time when I thought he was funny, but right now it's kind of like, meh. Meh. It's very... I don't know if it has the same meaning in English, so excuse me if it doesn't, but it's very white humor in my understanding, where it's like jokes that are very mild, you know, like your mom laughs at them, they're not especially punchy. It's like a tag for everyone. And I am not super into that when it comes to politics, because I think if you're trying to do, like, you know, family humor with political content, like, you stop yourself from saying some things that are really important to say. Like, how do you make Colbert humor with, say, the Epstein files, which are probably the biggest scandal in the United States right now? Like, how would you do that? I guess some people might try, but I don't know. It's not my... wouldn't be my prerogative, you know? Huh? Oh, those are very beautiful, by the way. I am not finding wood. I wonder what that is. There's like a light over there. Yeah, Colbert is like a German humor. You know, they're saying something that's like very bland, but you know, they're slapping their knee as they're saying it, like ha 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 ha. I don't know, maybe I'm judgmental. All that's left. Ooh, another vote. Lumber! I'm finding wood, this is so good. I live to find this. This is the best thing ever. Old iron chain. There we go. Is that wood? No, those are... I'm going to the small island first. I think I have a lot of jewels that I could be selling that I'm not selling. Personally, I really enjoy watching John Oliver both for the show and his humor. Yeah, but you know, John Oliver, he's endearing, I think. Because he takes that to like the best place you can take it. You know, he's like very explicit about the way he makes jokes. And I guess for me, that's like, you know, he's not taking himself super seriously, right? So that's part of the appeal. For me, John Oliver is fine. Like, I'm chill with John Oliver, yeah. I could be researching something, but I don't know what to research. Like, is it trollnet? Ooh. Trader. I'm gonna sell you, yes. I should have some other things. Do you want a plate? There we go. He will tell you up front. Yeah. I don't know. I guess the thing that I'm not super into with someone like John Oliver, right, is that he stresses me out. Because, yeah, you know, all of his shows are discussing something in a very, like, liberal way where you're giving people information and awareness of a subject, but there's never ways in which that awareness translates into things, you know, it's just alarming people. So I would have a hard time watching him for fun. I watch him for like informational purposes, right? But then whenever he's saying like, oh, you know, like, look at this dog that I find very attractive, I'm like, huh? I'm trying to engage you for educational value, you can like throw that curveball at me. Yeah. I'm like, huh? Huh? No. Nah, maybe I'm being too judgmental. I understand he's a comedian. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna continue the hunt for wood. Dun, dun, dun. They managed to turn into a 30-minute segment when intermingling throughout when interrupting the flow. He and writers do an excellent job. Yeah, like, they're very talented at what they do, don't get me wrong. Like, these are people who are pretty much at the top of their game. I guess I am concerned about the future of that format because I am somewhat aware that people are not watching TV as much as before. But if people are watching TV, they are watching these guys, right? So it's kind of a struggle for their projects to kind of keep every end of like their investors happy. What? There's a tremble. Okay. Guess I'm just exploring right now. Yeah. I guess that's like the challenge for them, that most people aren't watching TV, but if people are watching TV, they are watching them. And they are doing more or less a good job at doing like the internet transition. But at the same time, you know, it's not the presentation that's... Huh? Okay. Yeah, it's not the presentation that like you and I watch, right? Like right now you're watching a VTuber give you like a very personable interaction. Like you and I, we talk. Can I talk to this builder? Hey, thanks again for helping me move out here. I've managed to get myself set up now. Okay. Yeah, like you and I can talk, but you know, with a John Oliver, that's less interactive. It's a very different kind of media. And yeah, the way that people consume things, I guess, is changing too much for that generation to really get on top of their game as they used to be. I hope that's wood. It doesn't look like wood. Yeah, no, it's iron. I mean, I guess I still need iron. Rot? Oh, right, the fish. Hmm. Where else is the wood? As an example, Clovert is the top-rated CVS show, though unfortunately he's getting cancelled, so allegedly parents couldn't accept their manager. Yeah. I don't know. I would honestly think that they are being censored at the higher level. Because I am aware that Trump finds him like very annoying. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't discount the possibility that, you know, they're actually getting censored in like a bad way. Amazing. We're gonna get so much wood out of this. Yeah. I think when it comes to like online comedians, there's been a lot of very good ones that have been coming about, right? Yeah, and a lot of like the online era comedians are more personable and invested in you know, in talking to people than before. Okay, am I being stupid right now? Am I being stupid? How am I gonna get back? Okay. If that thing sacks me, I'm gonna lose my shit, and I don't want to. Okay, 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 okay. Done. Let's stand by this one. It recovers my sanity. It's not recovering my sanity. Have not allowed, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just hope that, yeah, people are less censorious. I don't like how censorious a lot of the internet and like adjacent communities have become. There's been a lot of like nonsense around age verification as well, but that one I don't know. That one I kind of understand, because as a kid, you know, I went on 4chan. Yeah, I went on 4chan as a kid. Like, let me admit that. And 4chan has this warning of like, oh, please don't come here if you are 18 or older. And I'm like, who in their right minds is 18 and like still interested in 4chan, right? Like, it's not like, if you're an adult, you have other problems and other things to look at, right? This needs wood, doesn't it? Unfortunate. ¿A quién le dan pan que llore? Yeah, so that was like the concern, you know, like, are you going to be like unfortunate at this age? And all you had to do was really just click a button that said, you know, you have to confirm to me that you're not lying, and then you click the button, and then you did that, right? And then you could just lie. So, you know, the solution to that is having parents that are actively involved in the raising of their children, right? Because you don't want to have children that basically are unsupervised on the internet. But experience has kind of shown that parents are not willing to do that kind of work, and that the parents that are interested in doing anything in relation to the internet are often more interested in outsourcing parenting to computers. So that's how you get like iPad kids, or how you get you know a lot of these things where parents just don't really participate in the raising of their children all that much. And like yeah, it's just kind of been observed as a practical reality that the age verification button where you like trust someone to like not lie about their age doesn't work, and parents are not going to be active, or you can't count on every parent to be active, right? So like the engineering solution to that is saying like, okay, they're not gonna comply, so let's force them to comply in some other way. And now there's like a push to get just generally a digital version of the ID. And with a digital version of the ID, you would solve like a lot of those problems. Like even if you have a service that does not store, for example, the information, right? Like it's just like a thing that verifies in fact that a document says that you are of age to go on a certain website or access a certain thing. Yeah, like the purpose of the website would be to do that for you. But then, what that means is that in the interest of that security, the rest of us will have to get IDs, and Sinus Spindle, oh no. Yeah, and for many reasons you wouldn't want to get like a government to get your ID, because digital security is a lot more complicated than paperwise security, and it will be a lot easier for people to do fraud if they're not careful with your information. And I don't trust like I don't trust our current security to have like government ID everything. For me it's kind of concerning, right? Because I kind of have to comply whether I want to or not, because I'm disabled, right? I have I have autism, and I could get like disability payments because of it, right? And in order to get like those disability payments in Mexico right now, I would need to get like one of the government IDs. And I guess it sucks because I was given no choice. Like the government has my identity now in like a digital database, and like fingerprints and signature and everything, in a way that they didn't before. So now I could be an easier target for fraud. And it's sad that, I became one of the first people to become an object of that, because otherwise I won't get like my disability payments. Like, what the hell? Yeah. Some parts of the argument in favor of age verification are valid, but the majority of them are the responsibility of the parents, not the website. Yeah. The thing is that we're just kind of aware that parents will not be responsible, so understanding that parents are not responsible, should we adapt to that reality, Is it something that we should be sensible to and just don't expect them to comply, and solve that at the institutional level? And even if they complied, would it be better for there to be institutional measures that could take care of that before the need arose for parents to have one responsibility or another? because, you know, it's just a fact that, you know, supervising their children on the internet is something that parents don't want to do, and that they will do, they will bother themselves lots in order not to do. So what then, right? Like, do we surrender the question? Honestly, I don't have an answer to that. I just know that it bothers me that I need to have a digital ID for the sake of children, right? Like, whatever the solution is or could be, I think it would need to be something less intrusive and more respectful of, you know, how I'm used to navigating the world. Because what essentially this creates is a situation where people who don't have children or who do supervise their children have to assume restrictions on their liberty because of the sake of people who don't, right? And it's not that I don't understand the reasoning for it, but, you know, there has to be a smarter solution, right? Plus the way that age verification is being done isn't safe either. Yeah. Small websites are going to get hit the most too, since they don't have the money necessary to implement it. Yeah. My favorite part of the whole age verification thing is that the people who are yelling about not sharing personal info online are the same ones who are now getting in and TC passing it. Yeah. I feel that it's the same for me. The most annoying thing is how difficult it is to even get into SSI in the US. I submitted the forms almost a year ago, and I'm still trying to get through the process. Yeah. I say that if the parents don't want to monitor and limit what their kids can do on the internet, then they can't complain about what their kids are seeing and doing. But that's my own opinion. Yeah, I understand. Like, let me tell you that even from my perspective, I guess I was one of those kids that had, like, unsupervised internet access, right? It wasn't completely positive for me, like, definitely not, but it also wasn't completely negative. Like, part of the reason why I came to understand I was trans, for example, was because I could, like, go online and understand things, and I had a relatively, well, no, I had a conservative family that wouldn't have allowed for me to access that information organically, right? So for me, that was important. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, like, I am the person that I am today because I did raise myself a little, like, on my own through internet access that I had. And I guess I would be, you know, a less informed version of myself if I didn't have that opportunity. And what bothers me a little is that, you know, something that was very wonderful about the internet a long time ago, right, was that if you were, for example, the only atheist in your small town, or if you were the only gay person in your small town, you had this thing that allowed you to talk to other gay people or talk to other atheists and, you know, find people that you otherwise wouldn't find through the use of these resources, right? And all of that was pretty good. And a lot of kids who were, you know, on the positive end of internet use and who were relatively responsible with what they looked at and what they sought, they did get the stone homes. Okay, the stone does not respond. I don't care. Yeah, so they did get they did get like a good education out of the internet, right? They did become thinking people with good feelings and good ideas. But we have to understand that that was not everyone. And a lot of the measures that are trying to be implemented right now are aiming to protect the people who, you know, um, maybe instead of like becoming smarter versions of themselves, they got like, I don't know, groomed by a YouTuber or something like that, right? And that's what these policies are responding to. The fact that the internet wasn't like good for everyone, and yeah, like a lot of people are not content with the experience that they had, and it is true that a lot of this could be resolved with supervision. But the thing is that parents don't want to supervise their kids. So yeah, TLDR, nothing replaces good parenting. Yeah, pretty much. I guess, I don't know. This is my pressure with like straight people. But like, if you don't like children, right? Like, you have the right to make an informed decision and not have them, right? Like, I don't know, what can you know, if you are someone that your kids don't trust, and you are someone that your children don't feel safe sharing what they're doing online to, then that's a failure on your end as a parent. And yeah, you know, I don't understand why the rest of society has to pay for your bad parenting, right? Yeah. I think most of Gen Z wasn't supervised on the internet. Yeah, probably. I think it's also the fact that, you know, a lot of people didn't know what the internet was. But you know, what you do in that situation is like understand, okay, I don't know what this thing is. I want my kids to be safe, so let me learn, right? Let me learn. Let me study what this like Chungus thing is, because like I'm not aware, but I know my kid is aware. So, you know, I don't want them to feel like they don't have an adult to trust in this situation. Let me be that adult, right? Like, that's what you want to do. But a lot of parents don't want to do that, and then they kind of leave their kids alone to adults that do want to get informed, but for nefarious reasons. And yeah, that's a problem. It has made us all less free, and it's regrettable. With that iron? I mean, it's just a regular jewel. TLDR, nothing can replace good parenting. Yeah. I mean, I guess the long and short of what I would say is that if you don't want to have kids, if you don't want the responsibility that comes with having kids, you can not have them. Like, you know, my parents, for example, you know, I was their third attempt at having a child, and they had 2 attempts before me to understand that children can be born transgender. So, like, why would you get upset at the fact that you weren't ready for something that's totally normal and could happen to you, right? Okay. Small vent. Yeah, like, why blame me for something that's normal and that happens, right? Like, you don't have to be upset at the child. My dad is the kind of like parent that is upset at children. Like, he will often tell me like, hey, it wasn't okay that for example, that you hit me and that you were like a bad parent in this sense and this other sense, and he was like, oh yeah, well you were very annoying as a child, you know, like, and I'm like, what? You know, will you hold it against a child that they're annoying when you're like on your 30s interacting with them? Like, what? Yeah, like, you know. Whoa. This one's gonna take so much. But luckily for me, I had savings because I'm very conscientious. Look at me. I had half the thing ready. Hell yeah. Yeah, thank you, Dad, for telling me I was like an annoying child. You know, I wasn't trying to be annoying, Okay. Repair all. Let's go. Yeah. The internet just makes it easier to be an offender. Yeah. Gen Z knows too much and is too aware. Yeah. I think the problem with Gen Z is that it's a very, what would I say? Politically inactive generation. In the sense that people are aware of a lot of things, but they are not really willing to go outside and translate the things that they know into actions. You know, you can know so many things that you become paralyzed by information. And I think that's something that does happen with Gen Z, where you have kids who are interested in the world, but and they have a lot of access to information very easily, but they do not have an equivalent outlet for, you know, the things that they know and the organization that they want. I think this is a failure of adults in the most part, because, you know, it shouldn't be the responsibility of children to be like on top of. Okay, I don't need iron right now. Yeah, like, children should not be or feel responsible of the fact that there's no good leadership right now. A lot of kids could be told, like, okay, well, you can be the change in the world that you want to see. You can be like the leadership that you want to see. But that's not an easy thing to be nor do. And I guess the thing is that there are a lot of adults right now who could be doing those things, especially at a time when these people have so much more money and so much more power than the average teen will have, probably. And then the question becomes like, oh, why aren't those people taking responsibility for the way the world is, right? Like, why does it have to be like teenagers who take those kinds of initiatives? And there's no easy answer, really. If you want my opinion, I believe there's a lot of boomers who could do good things, but they chose not to. And they are going to leave the world in such a state that when it's our turn to fix things up, it will be a lot harder. Yeah. And it's a complicated situation to be in, because even if you want to have like an internal locus of control, so feel like generator? Huh? An old generator sputters and takes over. Okay. Laboratory. The laboratory is in ruins with equipment and research papers soon about the place. Where do you want to look? Look around the floor. Look around the floor. There are cracks in the base on the structure that goes large to two large gashes as you follow them along the walls. Something extremely large and powerful created these holes. You slowly reach your arm into one. Hell yeah. You pluck an item from a gouge in the floor. Where do you want to look? The equipment on the table. I can't stay for the whole stream, but good luck and stay safe. Thank you. Yeah. Fun fact for your dad, kids are insane in a good way usually, and they're good to annoy hell out of you times. That's their job. Yeah. Yeah, like, you know what? I wouldn't hold children accountable for that. Thank you for the donation. I can stay for the whole stream. Don't worry. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you. I'm gonna give you a like. There you go. I liked your yellow super chat. Let's go. There are some strange looking prototype parts on the table, but you can't see any use for them right now. On the other side of the table you find a hastily scrawled note. It reads, "Not safe. Expect retaliation imminently. Evacuation to fort." Okay. Open the cupboards. Another one of these. Amazing. Where do you want to look? No, I looted this place. I want to go to like a fisher village. Like, my objective right now is finding somewhere where I can sell all the fish that I have. There we go. That place looks reasonable. Yeah, no, my dad told me he finds me annoying, and I understand it. Yeah, I'm a bit of a smartass. Like, that's real. But it's not my fault, they made me this way. Yeah. You know, at least my subscribers love me. Yeah. There we go. Can I research you? Oh no, you don't want me to research you. Ah, so close yet so far. Yep. There we go. Yes, let's continue looking for wood. We're very close to having enough wood to... Nothing equipped. Ah. Well, for now, let's fish this way. Yeah. Do I need the mangrove road for this? Oh, I don't. Okay, I am still very suspicious, so I'm gonna take it easy. I was expecting to find like wood laying around here, but there's really not that much of it. I guess a bottle's good. There we go. What's going on here? Is this the lab? Research. I don't have any parts. Yeah, I was so close to get this one. How unfortunate. Okay. This could have been the smart investment. Okay. She's gonna be southern, I think. Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting visitors. Who are you? I'm a fisherman. Yeah. Ah, yes, I thought you had the look. But a fisherman all the way out here? Strange. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you all the same. Not seen any other soul for months. In fact, I could do with your help if you had the time. What do you need help with? Yeah. I need help collecting samples to study. I was originally posted at the research outpost on the interior of the basin, but it was attacked. A large creature emerged from the depths and destroyed the outpost. Now it rests on the center of the basin. I've played here and have been making do as best as I can. Oh, okay, that was very good. But I had to leave most of my equipment behind, so now my research has come to a halt. Take a look at the list of specimens I need. Please drop them off here. You might need to experiment with different fishing strategies to collect all of them. Okay. All of these are coastal, so I think I have... I think I have them. Snapper. Okay. It's where the researchers fled after the rig was destroyed, right? Yeah. I mean, it's the first time I sail here. What I'm seeing is that she's interested in fishing octopi, so... okay, this is abyssal fish. It has to be very deep. In all honesty, I'm not even here because I'm looking for like... You know, like I'm out there to help her, though I am. I'm mostly looking for wood, yeah. There we go. This is what we're after. This is what we want. Na, 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 na. 3 of them. That's amazing. Let's keep driving. Is that the Starlight Pontoon? Yeah, this is where I want to be. Dun. Shipyard repair. Ah, I understand. There we go. All nice and layered. I'm missing a wood and then more. I'm gonna sleep. Yeah. Oh damn! I didn't sell the fish, didn't I? I forgot. This is bad. Ah, I forgot. Well, they're still fresh. Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep driving around here. I found wood, I may find more. That thing at the center of the map is a bit scary. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, ow, ow. Oh my gosh. That was bad. Latching snapper? Oh god, they hit me so bad. Gonna have to spend a lot of money on repairs now. Okay, I'm guessing I can't go into the center of the pool. Repair all for 120. Oh my god. Okay. It be like it do. Yeah. Dun. Yeah. Well, age verification is going to happen. It's basically a reality, so... I guess the best thing we can do is be ready for it. I don't think it's a good thing that it's happening, but I understand, you know, the people who want it to happen have all the incentives. Because of course a government wants a database of like who you are and what you do with your money and time and all those sorts of things, right? That's information that's useful for a government. That was scary. It was very scary. Oh, are these the octopi? Oh yes, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, they are a night fish. So they have to be fished at night. Oh, that's gonna be uncomfortable. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got a lot of fish for you tonight, lady. Okay, we're gonna undock. See, the thing is that some of these shiny fish, they are what the researcher wants us to get. So we're gonna have to go out of our way and fish them, yeah. There we go. Glowing octopus, this was one of the ones. Dun, 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 dun. They just keep going by and still wonder when the libertarians are gonna get up and do something. Yeah. Yeah, you know, like if I was a libertarian, I would be very upset right now because people are trying to add regulations to Bitcoin, right? Like even Trump, he wants to create like a Bitcoin reserve, and in Mexico they're trying to do the same thing, and there's countries where that's like an increasingly sought after policy position, and I'm like, bro, the whole point of the Bitcoin was that you didn't have like yeah, like it wasn't regulated this way, and that's why it was good, because you could buy things that you wanted without getting so, you know, anxious about whether the government was gonna like take that from you or not. But now it's basically the case that governments are trying to get on track of Bitcoin, which is not an agreeable thing if you care about like more libertarian market positions, because of course you don't want that to happen, right? Like if you, what you want with the Bitcoin is that it allows you to make transactions on your terms of things that you want to do. Okay, so she's looking for this guy. Here you go. And on my net I have a jellyfish, and I also have a squid. That's what you want. Okay. Thank you. Looks like you caught all of the surface specimens. Surface? You want more? But yes, I also do need from deeper down, but that's going to be a problem. Yeah? Well, why is that a problem? I don't have the equipment to catch anything deeper anyway. Yeah. I developed that device to retrieve samples from the abyssal zone. This was over in the research outpost before the attack. Have an idea of how to keep the creature at bay long enough to collect these samples, but while I work on that, I need to retrieve some prototype parts. Just carefully, I suggest you go during the day. I wouldn't want to be out there on the reef at night. Is there anything else? Okay. Tell me about yourself, girl. I want to know. Okay, I don't think there's much to say. I studied biological sciences at Ironhaven College. It was a struggle. Yeah, girl, don't tell me about college right now. There were no other females. Relatable. The department that year, or the year before, or the year before that. It's hard not to feel like an outsider in an environment like that, you know? You probably don't. Nah. When I graduated, I managed to land a job at the Northern Biological Research Society, and then, well, I was posted here by myself. I thought I would relish the peace and quiet, but I miss having company. I've always had someone, or at least a pet, out there. It's just machines. Is there anything else? What sort of creature attacked you? Well, I got the sense that it was attacking the research outpost itself, rather than me specifically. I suspect it was disturbed by some of my monitoring equipment. There were dozens of machines running there, all powered by a noise generator. It was a huge, larger than any other marine species I've studied. It attacked with tentacles, so I guess it's some sort of octopus or squid, or an anemone. One of my research vessels was moored around the back of the station, so I managed to slip away in that while it was tearing apart the front. There was a lot of valuable data and equipment left there, but I'm not going back. I can't. I won't face it again. Is there anything else? Have you noticed anything else unusual since you arrived? Now that you mention it, I've been so preoccupied with the attack and having to rebuild here, I'd almost forgotten. I found these letters from my sister. She'd sent them to me while I was studying before she... The researcher is quieted for a moment, to herself to the side. Anyway, I kept finding them amongst my papers. I don't remember packing them, but I must have. I started finding them more frequently. They turned up in my collection in my sampling tubes. They were letters I'd never seen before, but they were in her writing. They were in her name. They were saying things, talking about things that happened after she died. I can't explain it. Is there anything else? Nothing. I'm fine. Can I research? No, I don't have any parts on me. Okay. Yeah. Well, to get back on the subject, right? I do think that libertarians, you know, should be more active. Especially in the US. Like, it's incredible to me. This is the country with the most weapons per person that has ever existed. And they are so easily pushed around. Their liberties are so easily taken. I wish Marx could, like, be told about that, you know, like, show them these, like, proletarian class, richest in history, most money in history. They have everything you could want, but they're not protective, you know. They lack they lack the brass for that sort of revolutionary potential, right? They're just like, nah, I'm chill, bro. I got Doritos and Mountain Dew. I got, like, my truck to haul from Costco. Yeah. Yeah, I got my Costco truck. I'm fine going to the store once a month and then never leaving my house. You know, I dislike that that's something that the Americans started importing into our society, right? Because there's a lot of people who are, like, Costco brained now. It's on the table. Yeah. I mean, don't I want the sheets of paper? Okay, well, I don't want the sheets of paper then. I thought they were her letters. Like, I thought the sister wanted her sister's letters. Guess he doesn't. It's all psychological conditioning, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of amazed at that, because, you know, the whole Costco culture is very strange. There are some ways in which it hasn't gone completely through in Mexico, though, because there's people who go to Costco and then they buy, like, the big Costco storage things, but then they sell them, right? Like, so you go there, you have a Costco membership, and then you resell the things that you buy at Costco at, like, smaller prices on, like, individual units. And that's how you get, you know, that's how you get, like, an income of, like, reselling stuff. Okay, let me just, I'm gonna save the net right now. I need to go fast because I'm going to the castle. Yeah. Yeah. What's interesting to me is that we still live in a time that's very hostile to elites. You know, to political elites and to the way things used to be done. But people are not that willing to translate that opposition into actions. Okay, researcher. Hey, hello again. What do you need? I have those things, yeah. Oh, excellent. Let me assemble a device for you. These should allow you to catch specimens from much greater depths. A little slow, but you may be able to make some improvements. Sure. I'm gonna miss my thing. Now, I have developed a repulsion machine that produces a bright light that emits a high-pitched noise. It should deter the creature from attacking. Or enrage it. I'm not sure. Really, girl? Connected to the research output generator. You'll have to return and rearrange it every few hours. But other than that, it's completely automated. Great. Now, take a look at the list of specimens. Remember, you want to install these machine before attempting to collect these. You might also need to improve the equipment I gave you to catch some of these. Bruh. Is there anything else? No. Thank you for giving me errands. Okay, girl. Okay. In my defense, I'm lazy, yeah. I mean, I think it is not necessarily your fault. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, why aren't young people rising up and changing things? But you know, it's completely understandable why they're not. Eek! A loose jaw. Like, if you ask me, a lot of the problem is that a lot of us are very young and very disenfranchised, and it would be better for people in our situation to have leadership, right? In Mexico, we got very lucky because we had AMLO and then we had Sheinbaum, and there's a youth that's very politically active and informed, but it got generator. Well, there we go. Hey, yippee. Yes! Okay. Let's hope this keeps the creature. Leave me alone. No. I need to fish. I need to fish. I need to fish. What? Okay, this is Hadelfish. I need a Weaselfish. Oh my god, there's nothing. I mean, I guess there's money, but I don't really need money right now. Hadel. Is the creature coming back? Yeah, I don't know. I think in Europe you had people like, you know, you had Corbyn, you had Mélenchon, you had like all these people who could potentially be youth leaders of, you know, experienced politicians of an older generation that could tell young people a bit of tips and a bit of guidance. But for the most part, those people have been very effectively kept down by the societies around them. And I guess what's sad is that it's a very similar case in a lot of places, like in Japan, for example. I was surprised to learn that Takaichi is actually surprisingly popular with young people. you know. You wouldn't guess it, I guess, in a normal situation, but she is very popular with like youth age. Yeah. Din, 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 din. Yeah, so like in Japan, you know, young people are conservative. Over 90% of kids are voting for this like far-right candidate. But as someone who plans getting into academia, wouldn't it be better for me to be politically uninvolved? I mean, it depends. What field are you going into? Because if you're going to like a field that's I don't know, like relatively uninvolved, I guess, then I don't understand what the risk would be. Okay, so this is the one I should be going for. Okay. Yeah. For example, if you are, what would I say? If you are someone who is interested in, for example, in like, what would you say, history, for example? Then yes, you want to protect your image as much as you can, because yeah, people will like they will assume you are biased in ways that could damage your credibility as a historian if you're someone who's constantly emitting opinions on one issue or another, right? So for example, there's this guy called Matthew Webb, I think, who has a YouTube history channel. And this guy, he's like, well, talking all the time about how he believes that, yeah, he believes that, what does he believe? Oh yeah, that like black people have no history. Yeah, he's saying all the time, you know, as a historian, that he doesn't believe that black people have history. That he doesn't believe that you know, he endorses political parties as well. He's endorsed like the British like Regeneration Party or something like that. And yeah, he's just like one of these like scientific racists that has made a living out of posing as like an intellectual authority kind of thing. And if you are a historian, I guess you don't want to be that brazen with your political biases, because you know, you don't want to come across as someone who is self-serving in the interests of politics if your primary interest is to have a career, right? But then again, if you are a researcher in any other field, there's relatively few costs to you assuming positions, unless you are involved in like university politics, because then, yeah, then you might actually have to be a little smarter about what you do and how you do it, right? Because it's different if you have politics that you know, pertain, what would you say, like you know, you have politics that pertain the direction of the country, right? And a lot of people will like not care. They'll say like, whatever to it. You want to go tie yourself to the door of Congress? Go tie yourself to the door of Congress. I don't care. But if you have politics that pertain like your faculty, and you want to take an oppositional stance to, you know, the dean, for example, then yeah, you might actually be in a level of trouble that you wouldn't get in another situation. So that's what you want to look for. You want to you just want to be smart and efficacious, right? Like you want to have political activity in such a way that your actions and your decisions are conducive to your goals. Like, for example, as a streamer, I can talk about politics, but I'm very aware that just like talking about things won't be conducive to like any specific kind of change. This is something I am doing mostly to relax and because I like expressing myself, right? But if I was in a situation that was like different, say where um, I had to function as an asset to a political party or um, an ally or something like that, then yes, I would have the responsibilities to conduct myself very differently. Just don't pull a Jordan Peterson. Oh, Jordan Peterson makes me very sad, I have to say, because uh, he has a lot of papers on alcoholism and the effects of alcohol on the brain that honestly, in my opinion, weren't that bad. Like, if you look at him and his behavior when he was publishing under the supervision and control of a faculty, he wasn't a complete idiot, He was saying things that were interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I looked at Peterson back then and I was like, whoa, okay, so this is like a guy who actually bothers to like look into the things he's saying. Maybe he's serious, but the thing with some people is that having a lot of knowledge in one field makes them think sometimes that they can start speaking about like other fields, and that's not the case. And even if it's not the case, it's not always the case, right? Like, being an expert on a thing in one area does not give you authority to speak on other areas. But lumpy mackerel, what? Okay, yeah. I mean, I believe generally for the best that politics should stay out of the classroom. Something slithers into your cargo hold? What? Okay. Outside of the classroom? I mean, I guess my question is, do you want to be like a teacher of politics? Anglerfish, abyssal, hadal. What is that? Infected. Fresh. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I am not supposing that with your political activity you will take things to a classroom, right? Like, I don't know, do you want to tell like your grad students like, hey guys, like there's a protest today if you want to come? I have teachers that do that, and they're not terrible people. They're just like, yeah, let's stay woke. And yeah, it's whatever. But like, if you want to be the kind of professor that just gives people the opportunity to come to their own conclusions and just talk very little about what you think and what you believe, that's also perfectly understandable. Like, I don't think anyone would have a problem with that yet. Oh my god, I need to repair this. Okay, I'm gonna throw it all away. I don't think politics can be taken out of the classroom. When you teach it is inherently political. The way one teaches history, science, or critical thinking is all sense to take it. Yeah, but for example, when you're teaching mathematics, right? Like, there you can relatively detach politics from like whatever you're talking about. Like for example, if I am teaching you how to evaluate, for example, the Frenet basis of a curve, you don't really need to know what I think about healthcare, right? So there's, I guess, a spectrum of interpretation in which you can say that politics has dimensions or a place where it can be relevant or it cannot. I do think that mathematics are political because mathematics, as we study them and work with them, are caught up in like a Western etymological basis, you know? And the moment you start to think in mathematical terms, you do enter a sort of cultural mindset that, you know, it would be very silly to say that it doesn't exist or that you can ignore, that sort of thing, for sure. But then again, like, you still need to choose a relationship to those facts, right? Okay, this was a bad idea. I spent all my money. Oh no. Okay, let's send all this to storage. Yeah. I am trying to find wood. Am I finding wood? I wanted to go to the shipyard and no, these are items for sale. Oh, I do have one of these metal pieces. That's no, I bought it. I bought it. It wasn't something I had on hand. Ah putain. Okay, gonna refund that. I do need to buy a research part though. Yeah, I do need to buy a research part because in order to fish the thing the lady wants me to fish, I need... yeah, I need this arm that goes into the abyssal. Okay, so now I can fish whatever I want, right? I should be fishing, yeah. Yeah, that's probably one of my more controversial takes. I do think that mathematics is caught up in like a Western etymological basis, and therefore, you know, you learn to think in absolutes in a way that is not really or necessarily the case in other cultures, right? Yeah. Yeah, cancel me for that. Yeah, and you know, if that's the case in math, it's more so the case in history and other disciplines, because at least in mathematics you can have like some level of verification from you know, logical systems and reality that allow you to you know, detach yourself. I'd love to hear that in an essay. Oh, yeah, sure, why not? That's something I can definitely write. Yeah, I'd say that, you know, math is how would I say this? There's cultural frameworks where, you know, in mathematics, the way we think them, the base idea is that you can't be, for example, inside a room and outside a room at the same time. So the basic idea behind the most modern mathematical ideas is set theory, and set theory does have a series of suppositions that requires you to think a certain way. Let's say you do need to say, for example, that well, what I said, right? You can't be inside and outside of a room at the same time, but there's philosophical frameworks where even just morally you might want to have ideas or deal with frameworks where the stone hums quietly, sound ripples. Okay, so this stone does not talk to me. Yeah, so there's many situations where you might have a mindset or a framework where you are capable of holding two thoughts at the same time that are contradictory, or that are not necessarily complementary. There's like, for example, in a moral philosophy problem, you might look at a relative that brings you mostly negative experiences, like an abusive father or like an abusive mother, and then they might be your family, but at the same time you might want to take some distance from them. So if you have a definition of family where family is like a circle of support and a core community for you or something like that, then you would have a classical contradiction, I'd say, between, a classical mathematical contradiction between your definition of family and the reality of your family, right? So there's a situation where maybe, you might love a person that is bad for you, for example, or you might have attachments and good positive feelings for a person that is bad for you, or that does not have those positive feelings for you in return. And then, you exist in a state where the contradictions are dynamic, right? So it's not like the situation allows you to detach completely from the problem, right? Yeah, you are living in the contradiction rather than the contradiction annulling itself, simply because it's a thing that you find convenient, right? So there's a lot of situations in life. This is an example from like moral philosophy, of course, but like there are other examples that follow that kind of thing in science, where you have objects or situations that can be in two states at the same time, or that can be in a plurality of states that, if you're using classical precepts, you don't really get too far analyzing. Like a mathematician that has a bit more philosophical training, I would say, would answer you that, okay, if you can have a family member that does not have a positive relation to you, and then that's not a problem of like, there being a contradiction in your definition of family. That is a problem of the fact that your definition of family implies something that it shouldn't imply. So, a relative in, the the most general sense has to mean someone that has like a blood relation to you. And someone that has a blood relation to you will not necessarily be someone who is like nice to you, right? And sure, that's like a valid response, but at the same time, it's not a response that I believe most people would be willing to accept. And that puts you in another situation where you are trying to make sense of a reality that does not completely correspond to to what you would have in a classical logic scenario, right? So yes, there's some other problems in mathematics where you have logical systems that, for example, can be complete but not consistent, or consistent but not complete. And what that means, for example, is that you can generate a model that can give you consistent results, but it won't cover the entirety of a system, right? Or you can have a model that can give you complete results, It can more or less describe the totality of a system, but it won't be consistent in the results that it gives you. And yeah, that's another problem of or limits of information. I'm not sure how we get here. How does it relate to I'm sorry. I am trying to do divulgation right now. These are relatively complicated ideas, and I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job at explaining them, but yeah. Basically, the long and short of it is that the sort of strong verificational philosophical framework on which most mathematics are based are rooted in Kantian philosophy, for example, or these ideas that are very strict, where you can't have things that are both true and false at the same time. But there are situations in reality where those definitions of real and fake at the same time, describe phenomenon, or are at least useful at describing some aspects of some phenomenon. I don't want to say quantum mechanics because I hate that example, because my perspective of quantum mechanics, it's more that you're working with unknowables and you're trying to describe unknowables rather than you're working with things that make no sense. For example, if you have a particle that has both speed and an acceleration and a position and a velocity, sometimes you can know its position but you can't know its velocity. But just because you can't know them doesn't mean that those things don't exist, right? So a lot of people say that quantum mechanics is basically magic, and that in it you can justify the soul or things that are unexplainable, and that's not how that works. So I don't like to use that example because it's been spammed to death with this pop culture sort of understanding of what they are, and I don't like that. I feel it it promotes what's essentially misinformation, but at the same time, there are situations in quantum mechanics where, for example, it is useful to think of, when you're working with unknowables, sometimes you might want to limit those unknowables in order to extract information that is useful, even if it's not completely true. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's more or less the idea. Yeah. Okay. I believe we are close to finally finishing this. We're just missing these two. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god. Let's rest. Yes. Oh look, once you buy these, then that's the last use you ever give a piece of metal. Oh, so I'm very close to actually just finishing the ship. That's wonderful news. I just need a bit of cloth and a bit of refined metal, and I can probably buy the refined metal. Will you sell it to me? Hell yeah. Fish market. Floating dock, yeah. What are other examples you can think of like spaces of contradiction? What's an easy one? It's mostly from philosophy, because describing the mathematical objects where this is true is a bit complicated, yeah. Statistics, political class. It could be a very political class. It uses a lot of data. Yeah. Oh my god, like today I had a class where, well, not today, yesterday, where a guy, we were discussing like vaccines and situations where vaccines might might not be perfect, for example, like when you have a vaccine that expires after a certain time. And I was like, yeah, this happens. So for example, one example is the vaccine of like measles. Yeah, measles. Where right now we're kind of discovering that measles might be something that, you might not need just a shot, right? You might need multiple shots throughout your life. And then there's like certain flus that we are more accustomed to dealing with that way, where, you have to take a flu shot every year or every couple of years. And we were discussing like situations that might alter the variable at which you might need to take a vaccine again. And then this guy that I had never seen, but that just kind of sits at the corner of the class, started to say like, oh yeah, there's vaccines that don't work on black people. And I was like, what? Yeah. this fucking moron. I was upset at him, of course, but I was more upset at the professor that just didn't challenge that. He was like, yeah, probably, that probably exists, This is the problem with some mathematicians who have like zero political education. They will let that sort of comment fly by and give it like zero pushback. Like, what the fuck, Okay, so some other example of a situation where you have contradiction states. That's actually a very good question. I guess it's complicated for me to think about it, because the objects I'm familiar with that more or less follow the description have, they need a lot of previous conditions to describe. So it's easier for me to talk about it in like the broadest sense of like situations where you might have contradictory feelings about a person, right? Where you might have a conflict or an ongoing situation where your feelings towards something are unresolved. But if you want me to talk about something like what would I call it, like like data problems, we would be sitting here for a very long time. Yeah. Different surveys can show different results too. Yeah, how you construct a survey is also very important, because you might construct a survey in such a way that yeah, it gives you information that sorry, my brain is kind of cooked because I was thinking of like the non-contradiction problems. Oh god. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, okay, so this is ready. Oh my god, I have a bit of a headache now. Damn, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm making my thesis on something called a pseudo-arc, and I was trying to think of like an intuitive way of like describing that, but it is a very unintuitive object, so it's my heart hurts a little. Yeah, so when you're constructing a survey, right, how you phrase a question is very important. So recently I made a survey on like whether people were going to feel positively or negatively about like the VTuber model I'm going to use and things like that. And there's many ways in which you can construct a survey that will give you different results. So for example, if I had only given people options where you could say, oh, you can either choose this option or this option, then people tend to feel forced to answer in specific ways. So for example, if you're gathering your friends and you're trying to ask them, where do you guys want to go for lunch, like burgers or pizza? Then people will choose like either burgers or pizza, right? But then there might be situations where like no one wants either burgers or pizza, and if you give them a third option where they might say, oh, like I would rather not have either of those, then that would give you information that's useful. So there's situations where you might look at a person and ask them like, oh, what do you prefer between like the burgers and the pizza? And they might tell you like, oh, if you asked me, I would get the pizza, but I would much rather have pasta because I don't like either the burgers or the pizza, right? So yeah, in that situation you do need to be sensible to the fact that, you know, you might have people who don't like either option. And what do you do then? Yeah. That's for like a basic, you know, situation where you're hanging out with your friends, right? But then you might also be in another situation where you're trying to get people to decide how they want to vote on an election. And you might tell them, oh, you can vote, for example, Democrat or Republican, right? But maybe they don't like neither the Democrat nor the Republican. You know, possibility. Something that might happen, right? I'm not saying this is what's happening right now, but it's something that might happen, you know? And then, you know, in that situation, what do you do? Well, there's various political systems where when you vote or when you choose a poll, you are given multiple choice or ranked choice. So for example, you're saying, oh, like maybe I don't want to have either pizza or burgers, but if I have to rank my preference, then I would have like the pizza first or the burger first. Or if I have to give votes to two but not one, then I'm going to give pizza and burger the preference, and maybe I'm not picking pasta, right? So that way, you give people more of a choice in the things they want to do. So yeah, right? That's something that you always want to do whenever you're designing polls in general, like not only electoral polls, but also polls about like marketing. And generally, the people who design marketing polls do it the best because, yeah, you know, if they don't make money. So that's the thing. Okay. I have good news and bad news. Which do you want to hear first? Bad news, yeah. Well, the bad news is that the samples you retrieve from the basin have dangerously high counts of cellular mutations. The good news is that I've honed in on what's causing the abnormalities in the ecosystem. Okay. This all points to one thing. The basin is harmful to life at a cellular level. Oh god, it's like a cancer. It damages everything around it, whether passively or with intent. Okay, it's like radioactive. It's Godzilla. The Rabin looks community census, yeah. What do I do? Cry, yeah. I need to write up a report on my findings immediately. Maybe now they'll take me seriously. Oh, how rude of me, you've done all these for me and I've not got much to say thank you with. You should have this. She opens a drawer and pulls out a book. Sheepishly, she hands it to you. This is something I wrote during my studies. I think it'll be useful to you. Yeah, maybe. Thanks again for your help. I'd recommend that you avoid the area. Doesn't seem safe to be near the basin. Yeah, sure. I'm going back to like the center of the map because I think I have enough of what I need. Thrown it. Oh yeah, I uninstalled it. That's true. This is so bad. I need to go and install it again. I have zero good choice in US elections. Yeah, like, this is something that the Canadians also complain about. Quite often they say like, oh, you know, like, I don't want to vote Liberal and I don't want to vote Conservative, but if I don't vote Liberal or Conservative, then the other guy is gonna win, right? So people start voting tactically in those situations. You know, like if you have 5 friends that really like pizza and 5 friends that really like burgers, and then you're put in a position where you have to pick like pizza and burgers, then you're gonna pick the least worst choice. And yeah, that's gonna prevent you from actually making a choice that represents your interests, because in a poll that's poorly designed, people start making decisions tactically. Like, for example, it comes across as well in situations where you're asking people questions about like transgender medicine. You can ask someone like, do you believe trans people should have like healthcare coverage? And most people will answer yes to that question. But you know, if you phrase it as, do you believe that trans people should like I don't know, have unlimited money to pursue cosmetic operations, for example, then you know, you get people who get a lot more negative about the situation. And that's something that you have to be sensitive about whenever you design a poll, right? Like, you don't want to be playing into people's worst impulses. You want yeah, you want to design polls in such a way that they are maximizing the useful information that they're giving you. Yeah. Me every week at the function. Yeah. So like, you're trying to go to the movies, and there was like, what's the least worst movie? You know, there I'm gonna say I'm guilty of like being a bit cringe, because like I like watching bad movies. Like, it's something I enjoy. Yeah. Like, I haven't watched either of the Sonics, and people told me that the Sonic 3 was very bad, and part of me was like, I wanna watch it, I wanna watch it, I wanna watch it, I wanna watch it. Ooh, okay. Always good to stock up on wood. A research party. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's go back north. Yeah, I don't know. People have to be careful when they design polls. I think the overall conversation was about how things can be political in a classroom, right? And the answer is that yes. You know, whenever you are in a situation where you have authority over people, how you communicate and how you choose to communicate will at least put others in a situation where they have to manage your authority if they want to get around. This is why there are professors sometimes who get away with things like, being mean to students or assaulting students because they just happen to be the people in power in a specific situation, and people will read justifications into how people get into positions of power because the contrary supposition, right, is that someone got to a position of power basically through means that were arbitrary or like not fair, and that's a bad thing to believe. That most people, even if there's good reason to believe it, they won't want to believe. So yeah, being a teacher does have a political dimension to it, and it's something that you have to be responsible with. And if I had to say, like, as a student, the teachers I have appreciated the most were the teachers who were transparent about their politics, about like things they wanted to achieve, about stances they had against harassment. That makes me comfortable. That makes me feel like I am in safety with someone. And like as a student who happens to be trans, like I do care that teachers and just faculty in general bother to make me comfortable. If they don't, then that's pretty bad. Even then, I'd say it's not that difficult to make trans women feel comfortable. Like, you just have to not make them feel threatened. Yeah. Yeah, I do have like oh, ouch. I do have like this professor who really struggles to call me by my name because he knew me by like a previous name, and instead of calling me by my name, he calls me by my last name. And honestly, I'm a little annoyed at that because that's how people bullied me when I was in in school. They didn't call me by my name, so I'm a bit sensitive to that. But I think he's just trying not to make a mistake, and I guess that is like an anxiety that people have around trans women, and it's an anxiety I don't get because we're not that that complicated to accommodate. At least I don't think so. Like in my experience, trans women are really happy to forgive if you make a mistake when you're calling them by one name or another, because we're very used to people who don't even try, right? People who are, let's say, yeah, just kind of out there to make you feel bad, things like that. And so when you see that someone is like trying to call you by your name, but they have to like lose a habit, then it's like, okay, you're trying, right? Like, you're trying. I'm not upset. I can see that you're trying. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people who are just kind of really scared, yeah, about the possibility of getting screamed at by trans women, because they have this impression that like trans women are crazy and that they will cancel you and things like that, right? And that's pretty bad, in my opinion, because in general, we're like, most trans women I know are some of the easiest people to please and some of the most conformist people, in the sense that they don't want to call attention to themselves and not get into fights. So really, I don't get the people who are like super defensive about the fact that, oh no, this person is going to cancel me. I'm like, no, no, this is not gonna happen. And I guess that's bad, because like the way I've assimilated that in my heart is that sometimes people will be disrespectful, but in order to get them to feel safe, right, I will like not confront them if they say something bad, right? Because I think I want to value their potential of learning something. Like that upsets me. Okay, but yeah, ultimately, it's not hard to accommodate trans women. Yeah, it's really not complicated, as long as you're kind enough. Yeah, like, you know, if you have good intentions, you'll eventually get there, right? It's sometimes really hard to get people to even do that. Yeah. Okay, this guy, we had to give him a jewel. You walk in, place a jewel encrusted ring on a table by the collector. His eyes widen. We're certainly making excellent progress now. And I know what you're thinking. An item like this would fetch a fortune at any auction. But for us, its value transcends material wealth. Regardless, you're due a reward. He opens the crimson book, its spine cracking audibly. Selecting a page carefully, he begins to read aloud. The words sound muffled, as though he's speaking through a thick haze. You hear a growling, crackling in your ears. Suddenly your vision flares and both of your eyes pop. Oh my god. He closes the book. I don't want to be helping this person. I think that he's like cursing me or something. We must keep searching. I've been thinking more on where we might find another. I can imagine all manner of detritus swallowed by the silty muck of twisted strands channels. It's worth investigating. I'll mark a location on your map where you can begin your search. Anything else? What do you know about the old mayor of Little Merrill? Okay, that's something I haven't asked before. That stuttering old fool? Yes, I knew him. He'd join us on the water sometimes, but was more hindrance than help. He never seemed entirely with it. I can't imagine he has fared too well since I last saw him. Anything else? Nah. Nah, I'm just gonna look around. I can't believe it. I haven't. The goal of the stream was like build a ship, and instead I have advanced the plot. Like, what is this? Yeah. Okay, so objects that can be both inside and outside. No, I give up. They're very complicated things, from like quantum mechanics and things like that. Is this the hall? No, this is iron. I mean, iron is good, but it's not what I'm looking for right now. Wood. Wood is always good. dun, dun, dun. Okay. Na 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 na. Yeah, I don't know. I think faculty needs to yeah, just be normal around people. The worst thing you can do politically as a professor is to teach your students to expect abuse. Like that's like the one thing I'm not okay with. And in a way I get it. Not that I would justify it or that I understand it, because I don't, because like obviously I don't, but you know, a lot of people who go into academia are usually like bullied kids, right? Let's be transparent about that. A lot of people who go into academia are kids who were like the nerdy kid of their class. And a problem that these kids have growing up is that they don't really have access to power or access to like social capital. They get to feel like the weird ones, and you know, they don't get many friends, and it's like a bad thing to feel if that's your experience. But then, you know, a lot of these professors, they get into a position of power for the first time, where they're giving like a research position or a research assistantship, and then they are like, yeah, I gotta go before class, bye bye. Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream in like 12 minutes, I think. I'll have a new essay in subsection, hell yeah. Yeah. So these professors, you know, they get to a position of power for like the first time in their lives when they enter a university, and they are rewarded for. You must have been around most of the islands by now. Have you found whatever you're looking for? I'm just fishing, yeah. She recoils from your flagrant lie. What? I'm literally just fishing. Why do you mistrust me so? What have I done to warrant such suspicion? She turns from you, shaking her head and muttering. She heads back towards the lighthouse. Girl, I don't know. I don't know you, girl. You've been nothing but mean to me. Okay, fishmonger. Okay. Dry dock. Finally, we can make the last upgrade to the ship, which is the objective of this stream, which we didn't do. Instead, we advanced the story. Okay, I guess I'm gonna sleep and then I'll get fishing. Yeah, like I have enough power to... I have enough fishing power right now, sure. X. Like you want to show me banish. Can dispel most evils. Whatever. Are you in an evil dispelling mood, guys? Is that something you like look forward to? Right now we're just gonna fish. We want to get all the money we need to buy the boat expansion. Yeah. Eh. This is inconvenient now. Yeah, no, whatever I pick up from here, it's not gonna fit on the boat. The mantas are not gonna fit. Probably one of these will fit. Yeah, I can fit like 3 of these. Let's go. Oh wait, I can just put them in the net, can't I? I can't just put them in the net. Okay. Okay, I can't just put them in the net. This lady expects me to have like, I don't know, she's been nothing but mean to me, and now she wants me to like tell her that I found some sort of emotional satisfaction from something. I don't know. Maybe she knows me from the past, but I don't remember. Maybe it's that. That happens to me sometimes. Where like a person will be like, hello, and I'm like, I don't remember you. I'm very bad with names. Like that's legit one of my... It's probably one of my flaws, like being bad with names. I struggle remembering people. It takes me a lot of effort to remember, for example, a birthday. Yeah, it's a struggle because it's not like I don't care. It's just that the way my head works. I have a very difficult time, like remembering numbers that are relatively arbitrary, so they are not tied to anything, right? So if I had to say, I know like my best friend's birthday, I know my girlfriend's birthday, I know my first brother's birthday, and I don't know my dad, my mom's, or the rest of my siblings. And yeah, that kind of sucks. It's put me in a lot of like very awkward situations. Purchase upgrade. There we go. Very upgraded ship. Okay, what's the most important? Modifies 2 cargo spaces to also hold rods. I think the most important is the cargo, yeah. Because these ones allows us to... What's awkward? Yeah, like, it's hard for me to remember a name. And I don't like... I don't like when people, like, make me feel guilty for it, because I'm increasingly thinking it has something to do, like, with my disability. Whenever I try to remember a name, I have to do like a very good effort to remember faces, names, things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not fair on people, right? Because people are friendly to me and they are used to people who can remember their names and things like that. But yeah, I mean, being honest means admitting that it's something that I struggle with. Especially if it's people that I've seen probably once and not that many times afterwards. Yeah. Oh my god, what did I do? No. I wanted to deploy my fishing net, not whatever this was. I don't... What is this? No! I didn't want that to happen. That was so scary. Oh, but look, I have so much inventory space now. This is so good. Yes, I'm gonna drip the ship. I'm gonna leave it perfect. It's gonna have so much space. Look how much space it has now. Yippee! I have so much space. So happy. Yeah, I want to get 2 of these, and after that, I don't know, do I have the stamina to go for another hour? Part of me says no, but part of me says yes, because I could like drip out the entire ship right now. What does my body feel? Am I tired? Would it be responsible? What would I do? What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Are you guys fine for another hour? Yeah. Dun. I am happy to continue fishing, but you know, I have not eaten since the morning, so maybe I should do that too. Okay, here, I'm gonna turn on the light. I don't know, honestly. Yeah. Dun. Okay. There just was one in there? That's sad. Sounds like you should eat, yeah. Yeah, I think I probably lost like blood sugar from thinking about complete but not consistent space. Yeah, I was like, earlier on the stream I was like, I don't want to think about mathematics all that much. I had an exam in the morning, and then I thought about like probably the most complicated algebraic object that there is. Yeah, complete but not consistent spaces. Oh my god, yeah. What am I doing? What am I doing to myself? Just gonna fill this thing up. We've done a lot of good job getting this place improved though. I am very happy because the ship has been improved, like dramatically. Here we have all the objects for an improvement, and here we have all the objects for another improvement, and I'm gonna do another hole. Yes, I'm going to see once more, but just once more, to gather more material. Alright, my guy, what can you... Yeah, that didn't make a lot of money, did it? And take care of yourself, sister. Hell yeah. Yeah, I haven't eaten. Oh my god. What should I eat? You guys get to pick what I eat. I'm vegetarian, choose wisely. Otherwise I have like a soup in my fridge that, you know, I should probably eat, but it's not, you know, it's not like, it's a bit of my everyday food. It doesn't even diversify my diet. You know, if I want to eat something that is like relatively different every day, that's not a omelette. I had an omelette in the morning. Like, yeah, I had one in the morning. I don't know. I eat that every day, like an omelette with lentils. I'm on the gym rat diet, yeah. Just eat protein like an animal, yeah. Nothing but proteins. Add noodles to the soup, yeah. I guess I could go out and get noodles. I could make noodles. We have noodles at home. That's a strategy that a friend told me, you know, like, in order not to spend on, like, takeout, you buy, like, your favorite noodles and you always keep some of them in your fridge, and then if you ever get the urge to, like, eat, then you know, you have, like, noodles on stock. Woo! Wonderful. I should probably take her advice. I haven't yet. Is this oh yes, this is wonderful. Because this fish is very expensive and I can sell it for a lot of money. Yes. Like maybe a nice rice dish. Yeah. There's no protein in rice. Well, I guess I could get like yeah, you know, there's no protein in rice, but maybe I could get like whole rice, which I do have. And then with that I can I can get some fiber. I haven't gotten some fiber in a while, yeah. Oh, I know what I have to eat. I have to make like a green juice thing. Yeah. Oh my god, I was so close. Wood is holding me back. No. Add a nice egg on top of your dish then. Yeah. I don't know. For me, egg is a bit of a breakfast food. Like, don't you guys feel the same? Is egg breakfast? Is egg breakfast? Or am I being like, am I being too picky? Repair all. I'm going to see just once. Just once. Yeah, we're going once. Oh my god. What did he damage? Oh my god, bruh. I love it anytime, yeah. Rice is very good. Yeah, I'm going to see once more, and I'm picking up all the items that are missing, and then after that I don't know. kind of miss when I could just like eat a sandwich. Oh wait, I have all the ingredients to make a cheese sandwich. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I got a plan. I'm gonna make a cheese sandwich, yeah. I still don't understand how to make like the grilled cheese ones. Oh wait, no, I don't have bread. Ah, that's so pretty. Oh my god, that's so pretty. That's so pretty. Oh wait, I know these sell for a lot of money. I'm gonna take one. Oh, I don't have a fishing rod for the ocean. This is... I might have exhausted all the materials on this island. I might just have done that because I'm not catching anything. Oh no, I have committed ecocide. Like here there's nothing. There really is nothing. No. I fished everything. Oh my god. I caught all the fish, but at what cost? Oh, and all the fish that I'm catching are so cheap as well. I guess I'm going over there because it's like the nearest dock. It's not like I want to go there, but you know, it's like the only option at this point. Grey mullet. I guess that's new. Oh, this is the mangrove. Okay. Fish market. Get this off me. Shipyard. Gonna ask you to repair. Yeah, I'm just gonna read the notes and then I've had enough. I've had enough. I need yeah, it's gonna take me a while. The game is telling me to stop. Like I've taken a lot of things. Good news is we have done a lot of improvements. We have the new hull and we just need money to like finish the biggest improvements on the boat. We can have the best boat ever, which is what I wanted. My goals are accomplished. Really, I just need 2 wood and 1 iron. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I need. That's what's keeping me from the best ship, EP. Okay. Gonna sleep now. Egg is a goat food for me. Yeah, but you can't have more than 4 eggs a day, otherwise it starts rising your cholesterol. I know that because I used to rely on eggs a lot as a protein, yeah. Okay, let's read the messages. We are engaged to be married. Congratulations. He sailed us out to the very center of Stellar Basin to see the lights. We talked for hours, something we have not done in such a long time, waiting and hoping. Sometime past midnight, as we were growing delirious and hysterical from the lack of sleep, the aurora shimmered into the skies above. When I turned to see his reaction, he was already down on one knee. Aww. I cannot even remember what he said or what I said, but I know that I said yes. This is so sweet. The ring is beautiful, with a span of jewels going right the way around. I cannot take my eyes off it. Postscript, I was not sure whether to write this under yesterday's date or today's, given that it occurred at the conjunction of days, but I feel that the news is significant enough to warrant spanning multiple entries. Okay, so he's 6'7". The 6'7" of March. Did they do this? When did this game come out? I don't think they. Okay. Sure. Okay, 14th of September. So this is like later. I have not read in a few days. I have been afflicted with some strange chill, which conspires to fog my brain. I cannot seem to keep warm no matter what I do. The ink has run from some lines here, and they are illegible. Okay. Well, most of what they hauled up was junk. They eventually came up with a large wooden casket. A hush came over the crew at such a tantalizing discovery. I remember the next moments with excruciating clarity. He pried it open easily. The buckling boards cracked and groaned with relief as they splintered apart. Crimson cloth spilled out onto the deck. Oh. The crashing waves rose to fill my ears. I hear them still. He stared down into the open casket and turned to me. In his eyes I saw the void. The page has been turned off here. Oh, that's maybe like the packet that the guy got, I think. Okay, let's continue reading the... Now's the manual. There's something I needed to read here? No? Can I just park in the dock? Yeah, I have everything. I have everything. So I'm gonna quit the game now. At 3:09, so that's right. Flies, let's go. Oh my god, you can see my... Oh god. I forgot to turn that off, yeah. This thing has like face tracking and everything. Oh my god. Okay, so... that was very scuffed. I thank you all for coming. It's been a very good day. I think yeah, I wanted to relax after an exam. I have relaxed after an exam, and I did most of what I wanted to do, which was like get the ship to near completion in its parts. So I thank you all for coming. I know staying around for like 3 hours is a lot to consume of a person, but I am very happy that you guys could stick around. So thank you. I will be disconnecting right now. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day / night, and I'll see you when I see you. I will check what's causing my computer to overheat because it's happening a few times now. It's starting to worry me. Maybe I need to change like where I place it or something like that, or connect it directly to the energy. I don't know. I will have to check what it is. I'm very convinced right now it's a heating issue. Maybe I need to get like better coolers and an energy source. But yeah, okay. In any case, thank you for coming, and I'll be seeing you all guys next stream. Probably next week at the same time. Bye bye. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye. Butterfly.